raised in the Tobagos. We growing like fresh tomatoes. Them boys on fire, too fuego. We pass it round hot potato. Everything is nuevo. I'm with my sweetie like Quavo. Need my cheese, need that queso. Need my bread, need that bankroll. Wake up, yes, Lord, I'm thankful. Another day on my schedule. Steady blocking the devil. I tell a hater, God bless you. Cherish moments that special. You gotta keep the memento. If you love me, then I love you, and I could never forget you. Some memories don't fade. Sometimes you miss the old days, but nothing changed unless you change. What's around you? How you?
Nothing changed unless you change. Nothing changed unless you change. Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Two Black Authors. I'm Rev Skip.
Man, Monk over here.
Yo, what's happening, Monk? How you doing, brother?
You know, just living a dream.
Yes.
I'm grateful for you.
Grateful for you too.
Man.
This is a kind of a bittersweet day because we are at our season finale, but we are not done. We have some other iterations coming down the pike we'll talk about later on. So this is not us signing off. It's just giving a little bit of a breathing time.
Off season.
Yeah, it's off season. Well,
Yeah.
We've been doing this for 12 weeks, brother. 12 weeks. We've been online together for 12 weeks. And I know that we're still going to be doing our IG like get together every week. I love that. That's where we really get down with the get down.
We got to keep the live going.
Absolutely, brother. What's going on with you, man? Everything good?
Everything is beautiful.
Is it?
Everything is beautiful. Everything is unfolding as it should, and I just see big opportunities for me and others going forward.
I love that. I was very much inspired by our number 45. I don't even want to call him what he is. The let's say 45.
That guy.
And this week he made something. This comment that just threw me. It says, "Don't about the global change, about the weather change, the climate." He says, "Don't worry, it's going to cool off." And I went.
Oh man!
I laughed.
He said, "Just watch.
Just watch. It's going to cool off."
The science, don't believe that. Just watch.
Don't believe science. Just watch. So our morning get down, we're going to talk about climate change because of the fact that where you are more so, you are in the middle of the smoke and the fire and everything. Northern California, Oregon, we got y'all. You're in our hearts and parts of Arizona. I smell it. I see the soot. It's all over, and it's not getting better.
Man, today was amazing. Today,
you could breathe today?
The air quality was so good today. I think it actually might have rained a little bit last night, so it cleared it out. But today, air quality was perfect. And then yesterday, it was up in the 200 range. So it's really, really unhealthy. So I guess it just depends where the wind, how the
wind is blowing.
Yeah, whatever it is. So today is the first day in the last 2 weeks. I had 2 bike rides. One was today.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be out there inhaling this smoke, like really inhaling this smoke, working my lungs and having this smoke go into my lungs. So I've been sustaining the house. But today I got my ride on.
On Tuesday, I worked out today. That was yesterday. No, it was Monday. I worked out on Monday outside in the garage, thinking, garage would be cool. Got on my spin bike on the garage. And then the next day, it wiped me out, the sickness, headaches, and everything. And yesterday, it was like I couldn't really do anything but do the work that I had to do inside. But this is really affecting the way, where I'm breathing, the way we're living.
It's such common sense though that the planet is heating up. The planet has a fever. The planet
it's common sense. It's evidence. We see the evidence.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying, and that's why it's common sense. There's evidence there. It proves it. Every year the Earth's getting hotter. So how can you, as a leader, say, "Well, no, it's not. That's a hoax." The ice caps are melting. You know what I'm saying? The tide is the water is getting higher. There's more floods. There's more hurricanes. Every year it's something disastrous, right? Several storms, a variety of storms, whether it be tornadoes, hurricanes, floods. Every year is becoming increasingly, parts of the America that doesn't usually even have this type of weather, it's starting to have this weather. I
And
mean,
you,
we're having tropical weather in the Bay Area. That's crazy.
and this president is not he's not beyond of giving out misinformation to feed his base. We know that even last time, because we're sending some love to Florida today because of what they've gone through with Sally, and we're sending you love. But there was a time a year ago where he was drawing this fictitious thing on a board with the, remember the Sharpie, saying, no, it's not really going this way, it's going that way. And I'm looking at this going, is this man really saying what I'm seeing him say? Hence, let's come up to COVID. I was not surprised last week when we found out that he knew. In fact, we knew he knew about what was going on, and he chose. And then, did you see the interview with him last night? I missed it, but my roommate told me how he said I was really playing it up versus playing it down. It's like, don't look over here, look over here. Don't look over here, look over here. Look.
Well, the last thing I heard was he said he didn't want to make anybody panic. So,
right,
if you're doing this because you don't want to make anyone panic, it's like saying, I know someone is coming to kill you, but I'm not going to tell you because I don't want you to panic. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You. So you're not going to tell us because you don't want us to panic. That doesn't make any sense at all.
It doesn't make sense. And none of this makes sense. And I don't think he wants it to make sense, because if it made sense, then we could really begin to organize and mobilize and do what we need to do. It's supposed to keep us, and I believe that is the focus of this person, is to keep us so confused and so not together on one side. He'll say something 1 minute and turn around and say something different in complete opposition. I believe that everyone calls him a buffoon. I believe that this is him doing what he's supposed to do.
Well, you can be both. You can.
Yeah. Yes, okay.
Bro, you ain't got to exclude you know what I'm saying?
Yes, you can be both.
This is what it's about.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We know.
Plain and simple. This is what it's about. And I really believe that someone that's up above him is running the show. He's just a puppet, just like the rest of the presidents.
Absolutely.
Right. So the people that are really running this world are those rich families that we all know about, and they're controlling everything. So this dude, he can only do what he can do. He can spread the hate, and I think that's why he was supposed to be in there to cause this division within America, so people can do things and make moves and make money off of
which is fear-based, fear-based. And that's why I'm glad we're talking about what we're talking about. But before we get into what we're talking about today, level of fear, because that is the answer. But this fear-based, you and I connected on something. We haven't really said it on this show. We said it one of the very first shows, but I'm going to bring light to it here. And we will get in trouble on Facebook for saying this. But pandemic really gives you another idea about how this is being used in a way to gain money and control. And it's just one view. It's one view. You and I connected with, remember that day I saw Plandemic 1 and then I went to Plandemic 2. And then I was like, brother, what do you mean that it was just it wasn't like I felt like I could do anything, but I just became awake and aware. It's like I went down the rabbit hole and I took the red pill. And I woke up just to say, oh, this is happening. And you told me, you and Wendy Silvers, you were the two people saying, you got to watch this. And I'm glad I did. So it was just waking up to that. Yeah.
And the thing about it is when you even hear that word, people like, oh, you're saying it's not real. No, we're not saying it's not real. We're saying it was intentional.
And this is real. This is real. People are dying from COVID. People are dying.
And it was intentional. And these vaccines were part of this whole plan. So once you get people scared, once you have people sick, once you have people dying, now you give them the cure for it, which the same people's pockets fat. You see what I'm saying? It's whoever sells the disease sells the cure. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going on right here. I heard, man, it just blew me away when I heard Bill Gates he said, we got to get enough vaccines for 7 billion plus vaccines for everybody on the planet. Think about that. 7 billion plus vaccines that he's going to get money off of.
Yeah. It's deep, man. He said into, I think it was Fortune 500 magazine, y'all can look it up. He said, the best money investment I ever made was in vaccines. He said this. And
that's what he does.
That woke me up to going, whoa, okay. And I can say this too, brother. I've had my moments of fear, a lot of fear. But I've done the work to overcome it. And it's still, some days it's good, some days it's not. Some days it's not. One thing I love what you were saying about this. I can watch CNN and watch MSNBC and hear the bad news, and the next thing that I see is a commercial for antidepressant. That's planned. I believe it's planned. I believe that's a part of everything. We're gonna get you sick and then give you the cure so we can make money off of that. That's just listen, y'all. This is our take on what's happening. And that's why we did a show, Two Black Authors.
Yeah. So with that, it's like when you do watch news programs, and I try to stay away from them, all the commercials are fear-based commercials.
Yeah.
Every commercial you see is about something wrong with you, right?
You need this to feel better.
So the time you get done watching this whole thing, plus the commercials, you're in a fearful state.
Absolutely.
They done brought your frequency way down by the time you're done watching it all. And don't get me wrong, from time to time, I'll go on there just to see what is the latest thing they're talking about.
We have to stay informed.
Then I'm off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then I'm off. I'm not going to sit there. I know people that I know personally that used to sit there and watch it all day long, and it would be so angry. I'm like, do you see what this is doing to you?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. This is not, your anger is not changing the what's going on. This is just affecting you. It's not affecting anybody else.
Yeah.
That's what you're watching is doing exactly what it's supposed to do to you.
Exactly. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Before we get into level of fear, that is the topic of the day. I just got to shout out to the Lakers, man. Shout out to LeBron. And I'm like, and I got to tell you something. You're going to laugh at this. And I'm going to laugh at this when I say this as well. But I found myself in the space of, again, where I used to be is us against them in sports. And there are certain teams that are in it right now. I'm praying for their demise, and I shouldn't. And I'm finding myself getting all wound up again. But I have to pray before I watch. I was watching LeBron. I was watching, the last playoff game against Houston, and I was celebrating. But there was moments where I was feeling something about Houston. I was going, hold up. This is going back to how I used to be around sports. That's the reason why I stopped wearing sports. But I'm ready, brother. I'm ready. I'm ready. We need to go to the finals today. And I'm going to show my ugly side. I'm ready.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Hey. It's a hater, but it's going to happen. I know
it's not the nice part of Skip. It's not Reb Skip. It's Skip. It's gonna Skip.
I got something else I want to.
What's that? Sure.
Since you was just talking about LeBron James.
Yeah.
Somebody, I forget who it was, called LeBron James out on the officers that got shot in L.A.
Yeah.
And I hope they make a full recovery. It's a horrible thing what happened.
It is absolutely.
Someone called out LeBron James and said, why don't you match the money that people have donated to the police officers, right? Since you want to be this person out there, why don't you match the money? And this makes no sense because nobody is kicking money into the victims of police brutality.
That's right.
What are you talking about? So I'm supposed to give money to an organization that I'm standing up against as far as the brutality that's coming out.
We're asking for reform. What I feel that money.
To be so privileged to go, LeBron James, where's your money at towards this? That it's like the guy that spoke these words has never put money in towards the victims of police brutality. So how the nerve of you to ask this guy to put in 100 and something thousand, match whatever in there, it shows you what privilege looks like. So
absolutely.
Right. So we can get shot down in the streets and you don't say nothing. You don't do nothing. You don't look for the answer to this. You don't put no money in. But then when your people, something happens to them, you're looking at these people like, where are you at?
It's just like what Michael Bernard Beckwith says, Reverend Michael says, that mediocrity will always attack excellence. And I see this as like LeBron and Kobe and all these incredible people, what they're doing, Kaepernick, what they're doing off the field and off the court is so much more important, and people want to attack that. So us wanting to help our own people, and that means not own, I mean us, not waiting for the government to do it. We are supporting the lives, because we know that we matter, is a very important thing. And to have someone to attack it, well, that's just hateration.
Here's the state of America.
Yeah.
The state of America. So the opening football season, game was on Thursday. And so when they locked arms in unity,
they got booed.
So you can't kneel. It was about the anthem. It was about the troops. It was about this and that. This had nothing to do with any of that. The anthem wasn't playing. The anthem wasn't doing anything. This was a moment of silence where we can unite as one, and they booed it. That's where you're at. All this other stuff, it's about this. It's not about that.
No.
Not about that. It's about not wanting to lose your place in society. Wanting to have the upper hand and don't want other people to have the same opportunities and treatment as you. That's it. There's no other reason to boo unity. Why would you ever boo unity? Because you don't want equality.
And what Angela talks about is this, that when people hear equality, those that are in privilege think about they're taking something away from me. And that's not what we're doing. We're talking about equality. Everyone matters. Everyone. Black lives don't matter more than white lives, but no less. Black lives matter. And he needs us to say 2-2.
Right.
I'll say 2.
Right.
But is that going to change it, brother?
No, everybody gets that point. Everybody gets the 2 point, the 2 that was left off. Everybody gets that.
Everybody gets it.
They want an argument, so they don't want to get that.
Yeah.
Right. They don't want to say. It's super simple, right? They want to. Anytime you say something like all lives matter, you're just trying to discredit Black lives. Period.
Yeah.
It's demeaning, right? Oh, blue lives matter. There's no such thing as blue lives. That's a job. That's a job.
Do you follow tennis? You don't follow tennis, do you?
I don't, but I know Naomi Osaka.
And she had 7 masks, and she wore the mask, and she is the voice. I love this. I thought, okay, because I'm still such a Venus and Serena fan, and it's just the era I'm in, and I don't know if Serena is going to win another major, and she might, but I'm looking at Osaka as what a powerful young voice for this movement, and using the status of the sports star to say something that matters. How powerful is that, bro?
That's what you're supposed to do. When you have a platform, if you're not using it for the betterment of this world, then you're missing the mark.
Yes.
And if you have the opportunity to speak to millions of people, you better do it, and you better do it right, and it better be with love, and it better be with compassion. Stuff. That's what we do. And when we have a platform that's bigger than what's going on right here, that's what we're going to be doing. And the beautiful thing about Naomi Osaka is the reporter asked her, like, what mask are you going to wear next? And basically asked her, well, what is that? What is the meaning behind it? And she just simply told this lady in not exactly.
I loved it.
She
what
said,
does it mean to you?
Yeah, what does it mean to you?
Yes.
Because I know what it means to me.
Right. So what does it mean to you?
I need to know what that means to you. How does that make you feel? What do you feel about that? And I love that part. And that's what I was going to talk about on the morning get down as well, because she threw we know what that means, but what does it mean to you? What does it mean to someone that doesn't have to deal with the things that Black people deal with?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Is
Yep.
it important to you? Right? Does this make you feel as any type of way, or it just doesn't matter to you?
Yeah.
What does it mean to you? And the problem is, for too many people, it doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, for too many people, it makes them angry to even speak on this discussion.
Yeah, well, people don't know what to say. And this is the thing that I think we're learning on every level, that we are learning about allies and what allies do for our movement, no matter what. May it be for racism, for homophobia, for sexism, for allies to women, for equal rights, and not to be hit on and to be sexually abused. The allies are looking to how we don't know what to say yet or how to say it. Can I find my way? That's why I believe cancel culture is so dangerous, that people have to have ways of speaking and trying to speak, and then be open to us saying, yo, dude, that was a little bit privileged. Check your privilege and understand we're coming from a place of helping to elevate this conversation.
It really gets frustrating.
I know,
because we know what it is. We know where the source is. We know where everything comes from. We know there's all oneness, but we got put up and divided into these boxes. In these boxes, when they don't agree with other boxes, we got division and fighting and killing and hate. It's like, you got to realize that the person you're hating, that's a reflection of you. And people don't get it. They don't understand that. And that's the frustrating part.
Yeah.
It's like, if they got it, we wouldn't be talking about this right now. The skin wouldn't be so important.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
But thank God we do have this platform, we do have this show, and we created 2 Black authors so we can have a voice and have a greater voice beyond our books. But what I'm saying, we're going to talk a little bit more about what's next, because we know this is the end of this season, but we're grateful to have had this platform. But we'll talk about that later on. But I just want to bring us into our conversation for today. I had the absolute privilege of being one of the very first people to see this next iteration of this book, Level with Fear, and I absolutely love it. It's so simple, it's so effective, it's to the point. Sometimes books can get very woo-woo for me and can get very, airy-fairy for me, but you are just straight up to the bam. This is it, y'all. Yeah. This is Love Over Fear, straight up. So, congratulations.
You said airy fairy? Is that what
airy fairy? Sometimes it's just so out, and some people have these great spiritual awakenings, and it's way out there. And I'm like, well, that just went over my spiritual head.
So the reason why it didn't get airy fairy, that was intentional.
Yeah.
That was intentional because I knew that everybody is not there.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to turn away people that would not understand what I was talking about.
So, brother, tell us about the idea of the book. How did you come up with this name, Level with Fear?
Okay, well, when I wasn't planning on writing a book at all, period. I never thought about being an author. I never thought I was going to be one. And then, I do speaking. And then I seen a video and someone said, well, what are you giving to your audience? What is your audience taking away from what from your speaking engagements? What are they taking away? What can they take away? And I'm like, well, they can take away my words, but a lot of times people, they won't retain those. Like a lot of times at the time it sounds good, but then when they go back to the regular life, they forget everything that someone said. So I said, you know what? I'm going to write a book. So about a year before that, I had wrote down these principles that are in this book, and I was going to do them. I was going to talk about them at a speaking engagement, and I didn't. They were in my book somewhere. So when this came up and I said, I'm going to write a book, I said, oh, light bulb came off. I said, let me go back and check these principles out, and then I'm going to break them down and write about each one. And that's how the book came into, that's how the book started. And it just kind of evolved from that. But that's basically what it was about. Those 10 things that I wrote a year before, that then when I was ready to talk about these things, that idea came through. And then when I was writing it, when I tell you, Skip, when I was writing it, it was like it was writing itself.
How long did it take you, would you say, from contemplation, from the awakening aha moment of I'm going to write a book to, and we know it's coming out in 2021 in January. What was the timeline, and how long did it take you in conception to where we are now? What was that time?
Well, I think it's been over a year, maybe a year and a half when I first started writing it. And then I had my my other partners with me. I had Jamal, you know Jamal.
Yeah, he was on the show.
Jamal. So after I started writing it, how it went down was Jamal, he's a good friend of mine. So I was writing it and I was showing it to him, like, how does this sound? And he's like, this is really speaking to me. So as I'm writing it, he's like, I feel like it's talking directly to me. And this is what this book is going to do. It's going to talk to you. So wherever you're at, it's going to meet you there. So I don't know how much I had written before that. Then I had a meeting with Shelby. Shelby came in and I said, yeah, I'm writing this book, blah, 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 blah. And I showed it to her and she was just like, oh, wow. Let me see. And just took what I think I don't know if I screenshotted or I gave her a notepad or something I was writing on. Now she got involved. She's a very good writer. So as we went forward, you know, I would write it out, boom, send it to Shelby. She'll send it back. We all look at it together, all agree on it, boom, move forward. So there was a couple different, not versions, but, you know, read-throughs, and by switching it up, whatever little things didn't make sense, you know, read it and go over it, read it, go over it, read it, go over it. Then it finally got to the point where I met you and Sean. And then you know what happened from there. We read it, added stuff to it, took some stuff away, made it more personal, because before it was just like a workbook. It wasn't really like personal feel to it. Like, you don't know, they could have envisioned anybody writing it, but with the personal feel to it, right? The things that I struggled with, the things that I went through, it really, I think it will make it way more identifiable. I think it will really connect with way more people because they like, man, I struggle with that too, or I have something not exactly like that, but I was in this type of situation. I felt this way.
Yeah,
so I think that was really a good thing.
And it's in the final edits right now. I don't know if you're like me. When I take my words that I've worked on and I go through my own edit and let someone else go through an edit, and I have to ship it off to the publisher, and then they're going to go through the edit. What was the feeling of once you sent that email to Joe at That Guy's House, which is our publisher, which this show is actually presented by That Guy's House? And what was the feeling that came up from you when you sent that email of this is your first book and it's going to your publisher?
You know what? Surprisingly, it was like, it wasn't like I was super excited. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It was just like, almost like I knew this was going to happen. I've been here before, and this is what I'm doing. And this
was
is
there a sense of gratitude, though? Was there a sense of appreciation of how you went through and what you went through? Because that's a deep experience of writing a book.
Yeah, I was. Don't get me wrong. I was super grateful, and I know it was divine. But a lot of times, when you know things are the way they're supposed to be, it's not a super. It's almost like Jordan win a championship after the 5th time, right? He's excited, but he's not overexcited. You know what I'm saying? He's been there. And
this is not your 5th book, Jordan. I mean,
but that's what I'm trying to tell you, because I don't think you're feeling me.
Right? I feel you.
It felt comfortable. It felt like I did it before. It felt familiar, even though I never have done it. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't like doing something. It didn't feel like doing something for the first time.
Yeah. In reading your book, there is absolutely these principles that help you to rise up above fear. And we'll talk about that in a moment, but in general, when people read your book, what do you want people to walk away with feeling?
Well, I want them to walk away with direction.
Mm.
I don't think necessarily a feeling. The feeling I probably would say is a feeling of I can do this. I can get through this.
Yeah.
I have tools to do this. I know it's possible now. So that type of feeling is what I want them to come away with. But I want it to be, I think it's going to give the most help to people that are already searching for something that they know that their life is not the way they want it right now.
Mm.
They're searching for something. They're actively, I need to do something different. I think that's really going to impact those folks the most. And I think if you're not searching for that and you just happen to pick it up and read it, I think it can get you moving in that direction.
But what is that you're talking about? What do you think that people are searching for, and what is that? Because we talk about this all the time. What is it? What are people really searching for in this time? In your thoughts?
In my opinion, no matter which way or which avenue they go about it, I think everybody is searching for peace in their life. Everybody is searching for purpose in their life. Everybody's searching for love in their life, whether it be through material things, sex. We're all searching for the same thing that we already have, but we're searching outwardly.
Yeah.
So it's about going back inside, connecting to what's already there, and then moving back outside. So we're all searching. Everybody wants the same thing. If you would ask anybody, well, what do you want in your life? If you really know.
Hey, Monk, your audio went out. Audio went out, Monk. Audio went out. This is live broadcast, y'all. Oh, it happens. I'm gonna unmute you. There we go. For some reason, it says cannot unmute the guest. You muted yourself, brother.
Hello?
There you go. You got it.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes. Okay. Say that again. Start from that space.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. Something
Hello?
happened with whatever was going on. You went to a mute.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me now. Can you hear me now? Okay, turn up your volume. Turn up your volume. Turn up your volume.
Hey, Tam, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you, Monk. I can hear you. You can't hear me.
Oh, it says I took the microphone.
I know.
Down.
Hey, Monk, it's going through though. Tammy,
I can't hear you.
tell him to lift his mic up because we're going through with sound.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Well, you're coming through on the broadcast. You're coming through on the broadcast. I can hear you.
There's some point there.
He can hear on the broadcast.
Yeah, I know. He can hear me, but I can't
hear you on the broadcast for sure.
What about now?
So
No.
Still no?
Are you on mute on yours?
I'm not on mute with mine. It's going through the broadcast. We hear you, Monk, going through the broadcast. You're talking. You just can't hear me on your computer. I'm not on mute with mine. It's going through the broadcast.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I didn't touch anything. I didn't do anything. Everything looks good on this side, but I can't hear anything.
Can you hear me now?
Mute. Mike and Cam.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me now? Okay, so here's what to do. Your computer is on
Turn
mute.
yours up so I can hear what he's saying.
Can you hear me now? Okay, so here's what to do. Your computer is on. Here's what to do. Your computer is on mute.
Turn yours up so I can hear what he's saying. I mean,
Can you hear me now? Okay, so here's what to do. Your Monk, can you hear me now? Hey guys, we're sorry about this. We're going to work on some technical difficulties right now that we're getting through. I'm going to keep talking until we can get Monk back into the feed right now. So So we apologize, but we're still talking about Monk's book, Love Over Fear. And as he's trying to work with his thing that's going on that side there, don't know what's happening. I'm going to see if I can unmute you there. See, I'm going to remove you and then bring you back in. This thing that's going on that side there, don't know what's happening. I'm going to see if I can Can you hear me?
That's not the issue.
Hey, Monk, I'm going to ask you to go out and come back in. Monk, go out and come back in. Monk, go out and come back in. I'm going to keep it going. So get out of the broadcast and come back in. Okay, guys, so we're still broadcasting here. We apologize because this is real stuff here. And in this space of the real deal broadcast, live broadcast, sometimes stuff works and sometimes it doesn't. And in this space here, we're talking about Monk and his book, Love Over Fear, which I helped to help him coach through it. And it was a powerful time to work with an author to help him to get his words into print and into broadcast. So that was kind of the work that I'm actually beginning to do more work with That Guy's House. We have a division of That Guy's House is going to focus on spiritual activism. And part of my work is to actually bring people into that space and have that talk. And I think we're going to get Monk back in. Hey, Monk, can you hear me now? You can hear me now.
Boom.
Okay, boom. Sometimes you just need to get off and get back in.
I don't know what happened. It is
what it is. It's okay, brother. Well, we got you back in. That's the main point. You were talking about what you want people to take away from this book. So let's get back into the conversation, brother.
Okay, so yeah, so I was saying if you already know that something's not the way you want it, something's amiss, right? It's going to have the most impact on you because it's going to show you what's amiss.
Yeah,
it's going to show you. I'm not even going to say the correct way to live, but it's going to show you something different from what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Right?
And question is, do you really believe that anything is missing out of someone's life? I come from the belief that everything that we are looking to have in our life is already within us. It just hasn't been revealed. So nothing is missing, but it's just going through the revelation of it. How do you speak to that, bro?
Yeah. Nothing is missing, but they know that what they're doing right now is amiss. You see what I'm saying? They're looking in the wrong direction for what they want.
Right.
And most of the time we're looking externally for what we want.
Yes.
Book tells you to turn around and go back in there and connect to that. You can't learn the truth. You discover it, right? It's always there. So it's about redirecting your focus to yourself inwardly.
So you have these 10 principles and 10 tips. And if you could, let's focus on, I'm not going to say the number one, but the one that you go to and you use mostly when you're in fear. And so let's talk about these principles and tips that you have in the book. Which one that you use quite a bit?
Well, I talk about the different, love is love, but there's different ways, self-love, unconditional love, which is also a part of self-love. And forgiveness is also a part of love, which people don't understand that part. So the love part is really, and that's why it's number one, is because it's essentially this is what we are. And if we live from a loving space, and I always say this, if you have love in your heart, right? If you're practicing, you got love in your heart, fear cannot exist there at the same time.
Yeah.
They got to take places. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
If love is there, they can't simultaneously be there together. Fear can't be there if love is there. Hate can't be there if love is there. You can't have love in your heart right now and hate at the same time. Love has to take has to remove itself, and hate has to plant itself there. You see what I'm saying? They can't coexist.
So how do you speak love to the situation that we're in now? We talked about our lovely number 45, or talking about racism that we're seeing, and we're talking about all the things that we're experiencing. That's low frequency separation is an appearance of separation. How do you speak love into a space of what we're experiencing today?
Well, it's not easy. It's not easy. And just because you having a disagreement or you feel a certain way about something, if we come from a place of love, we don't take it personal. And I think that's the number one thing. If you take this personal, if you take what he's doing personal, it's going to tear you up. It's going to eat you up. It's going to be a personal thing, right? But when you take it, you're from a place of love, and you work just on the issues at hand, but from that place of love, you don't take it personal. You see it for what it is. Not saying you won't get angry, not saying any of these things, but you know what it is. If you really believe that guy that you talk about is an expression of God, if you really believe that, if that's what your words are, then why would you ever take that personal? You just know he has lost his way somehow. He's not living his truth. He's not living from the place where what he really is. You see what I'm saying? So like I said before, it'd be like spanking a baby for having a mess, and you're potty training a baby and the baby has an accident and you whoop the baby for it. You wouldn't do that. You know why? Because that's where they are.
Yeah.
This is where they are, right? That's where he is.
Yeah. I agree 100%. How do you speak love into that space where it feels personal? It feels and I understand, and I speak this all the time about myself. I have unresolved energy that comes from lifetimes and lifetimes and generations and generation. I know that's my work to do, but I also know that it is a time for me to, how do we operate? How do we speak love when we're in the middle of our own personal healing? Not a lot of people are walking in this space of what we know and what we deal with. So those who don't have this education or this experience of oneness, what is that love for them?
So you have to be conscious enough to know, to see it when it happens. Right? So right now you are conscious enough to know when it's taking you somewhere. And you can step and separate yourself, step out of that space, right? There's certain people that in on this planet right now, they cannot they're not conscious enough to remove themselves from a hateful place.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at right now, right? You have to know what's happening as it's happening so you can shift or pivot. So for me, I can tell when I'm starting to get a little irritated. I can tell when I'm starting to get a little angry, and then I can question myself. What's going on here? What's going on now with what I'm feeling right now?
Yeah.
And then I can, okay, this is what it is. Well, let me step out of this real quick, right? Let me recenter myself, whatever that is I'm doing to pull myself back in. And now I can go back and discuss or have this discussion or whatever I was talking about. Same with social media. You get pulled in with some hateful comment and you can feel it happening, and they're trying to reel you in. These trolls out here trying to make you angry, but you gotta be conscious enough to not bite it. You can't bite that bait. You got to step back out, recenter yourself, and just remove yourself from the situation.
Yeah.
We understand it's an utmost important for us, not for them, not for the people that are making you angry, for us to stay in our space. We cannot, once we get out of here, then we're done.
Yeah.
We cannot get out of this space. Once we get out of this space, they did their job, because their job is to get you out of that space.
Yeah.
Right? Your ego won at that point.
Yeah.
So a lot of times in this book, we talk about ego, and ego is just that false sense of self. It's the one that thing that always has to defend itself. I always have to defend myself. I always have to be right. That's what it is. It's about survival. So love is about letting that ego go and replacing it with our true nature. And it's not an easy thing.
One of the questions that's coming forth here, and I love everything you're saying. And do you have plans for a second book, brother?
What?
Are you already writing a second book now? Because I know I'm working on number 4.
You know already. I was writing the second book when I introduced it to you. You was like, "No, this got to go in the first book."
Yeah, no, this is the opening chapter for your first book.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is not going to stop. This is not going to stop. The second one is going to be more personal, more of my personal experiences that I went through, and it's like, speaking of the fear part, it's like I deal with it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that, look, I don't deal with these things. I deal with it all the time, every day at some point. You see what I'm saying? But it's about being able to take the steps to get through that fear, to know that it's not real for you. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
Fear, fear is a tricky thing. And anybody that says, "Oh, I'm not afraid of nothing," well, they must be a Jesus or Buddha, or to get to a point where you are literally don't have fear in your life. You're on another level.
I think too that fear is now. I'm looking at fear as one of my greatest teachers, and I embrace fear. And I have a friend, and we know Reverend Jason Mitchell in his book or his thesis. He's writing about how the beauty of suffering brings us to a deeper awakening. How beautiful suffering and I look at that. I'm going, how beautiful fear is, and allowing ourselves to be there, because that is our greatest teacher for some of us. And the overcoming, we're learning how to overcome fear and keep on moving on. That's the resilience of Black people as well, and how they move through, and we keep on moving through. And I love you. I love the book that you're writing, and the second book is going to be fire. And if it's activism, I'm hoping that Sean will allow this to be one of the very first books that we put under the new division of That Guy's House. I really, really, truly love you, man. Where can people, and here's the thing that we're closing down, but we're not finishing off. This is not the end it's just the end of a season. You have some things that you're going to be doing. Can we bring to light some things that you're going to be doing with the conversation with Monk? We don't know the name of it yet, but you're going to keep on interviewing people about this?
I'm going to keep it rolling.
It's going to be something like Level of Fear with Monk, conversations with Monk. Keep rolling.
Yeah,
and get information through that through.
Yes, and you had brought that up, so thank you for that. And right when you said that, I told myself, I said, yes, this got to happen. Just bringing on different people and talking about these things.
Yeah,
let's everything falls under those two umbrellas.
Yes.
Love or fear, everything.
Yes.
So if you're vibrating high, it's under the love.
Yeah.
You're in the fear zone.
These are great conversations to be having. I'm looking forward to some of your guests. I'm hoping that maybe I can come back on and drop in and be a guest.
Oh, no.
No. And you're probably going to continue on in this time spot on Wednesday, 11.
Yeah,
11 Pacific Standard Time. So y'all look for this on Facebook and on Instagram, dropping little nuggets of when it's going to launch. Level of Fear Conversations with Monk, and I'm so grateful to help you, to support you through this and to get this up, because this is part of the work that I'm doing with Rise Up, a division of That Guy's House. And That Guy's House believes in social activism and spiritual activism. So we're going to be doing some new things with That Guy's House. And we're excited for the next phase of what we're doing. And we both have a book coming out in January. Yours is going to be Level of Fear. Mine's going to be the little book for big transformation.
You got like 12 books out right now, right?
Not quite. This is going to be the third book, but second edition of the third book. So it's really the fourth publication that I'll have. And I'm excited about that. We've added in some new things. And I'm working on the fourth book right now. It's the little book for an elevated life. And we've already got that in practice in the series of the little books, yet they're big. So
if I read that, am I going to be able to elevate my life?
Well, you're already elevating your life. And this is the thing that this book comes forth to show people, that you're already living an elevated life. You just might not be awake to it. You might not be aware to it. So
there
it is.
You're my brother man from another man.
There you go. Hey, guys, you can follow us everywhere at Two Black Authors. And we're still going to be dropping stuff on our socials. We'll still be in touch. You go to our website, twoblacauthors.com. You'll be able to experience us and hear other things that we're doing. And Monk Eternal. It's Monk_Eternal on Instagram, right?
On Instagram, yes. Sir.
You be dropping some really funny things. I'd be like, it's just watching you drop it. It's like
sometimes you gotta laugh at the madness.
If you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Man, come on.
If you don't laugh, you'll cry. I got to say again, 12 weeks of an experience with you, brother, in this first season of Two Black Authors has been life-changing. Life-changing.
Well, I appreciate you. You know, just from the initial time that we met, we've been rocking it ever since. So
Ever since.
let's keep it going. Because I am not gonna settle for being average.
Hey.
No, you're not gonna settle.
Hey.
You're not gonna settle for being average. So we got to elevate everything. We got
That's
to
what we're doing, brother.
all the way to the top.
That's what we're doing. Hey guys, just stay connected with us. This is the end of a season, but the beginning of something new, and we appreciate you. So until next season, we love you guys. Peace and blessings.
Love y'all. Peace.
Peace.